You're not going to the convention, are you?
No, but I'm going to go to like the Halifax convention next month. So I'll do that, which should be fun.
Halifax, where?
It's in Canada, Nova Scotia, so it's like a 10-hour drive from here. I haven't been there before.
Did you go to the Montreal convention?
No, I didn't.
No.
No.
That's a good one.
I know. I want to do that next year, I think.
I drove up there with Luana. We did like 6 hours right after work. I was at Good Faith.
Yeah.
Went on Saturday night, hung out Sunday, and then drove back Sunday night.
Oh my God.
We slept in the car going up there and coming back.
You animal. That's too much. You're crazy.
She's the animal.
What the hell?
Because I in my right mind would do it. But she's like, no, it'll be fun. We'll sleep in the car. I was like, okay.
It's always nice to have a little adventure, I guess.
6'4" in a sedan.
Oh my God. How do you do that? You just put your feet out the window? Like
usually I have to shift my weight, and I wake up when a body part goes to sleep.
Oh my God.
And then I shift.
That's too wild.
Oh, what a day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I roped you into this.
That's okay. I know. It's like I had to be brave and do things outside my comfort zone. So this is good exercise for me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't really feel like I have that much to say. And I feel like my tattoo history is so shady that I'm like.
But I like that. I think you and I share a similar shady past.
Yeah. I know you mentioned some of it before.
Mm-hmm.
Just like don't want to incriminate myself and like, I don't know.
You could say, I allegedly did this and allegedly did that.
Okay, yeah. That's good advice.
Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Lynn, on the North Shore.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was born in Japan, but I was raised here. We first lived in Western Mass, and we kind of lived all over Massachusetts. I went to high school in Lynn, and my mom still lives there, so I just kind of consider myself being from there.
How old were you when you were in Japan and moved over here?
I came here when I was just a few months old, so I have no memories of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
I know. I want to go back. I was just talking to my sister about that, so hopefully we'll take a trip in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been there at all since?
No. I've been broke ever since I was born, so it's kind of hard to get over there.
And your family will speak Japanese?
So I don't actually know my Japanese family. I was raised by just my mom, who's like very Italian American. So that's how I was raised, which is pretty funny.
That's funny.
She can make like different, Japanese dishes though. Like she raised us eating sushi and pasta, so it's pretty odd.
I can see Luana just rolling over right now. No, don't put it with the pasta.
I'm sorry.
We'll go to like some pizza place, and there'll be tortellini on the pizza, and she has like daggers in her eyes, and she's gonna burn down the joint.
Yeah, that's too creative. That's not authentic.
Your mom, is she originally from Lynn as well?
She grew up in East Boston, so she's definitely from Massachusetts. Yeah, I guess she met my father here in judo class, which kind of makes sense, right? And then they went to Japan. She lived there for like 5 years. She had my older brother there as well. Then she had me, and then we came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. I wish I could have remembered it, but oh well. When we were younger, we had those Curious George books, but they were all in Japanese, and I knew Japanese like nursery rhymes.
Wow.
I would go to school and say them to the other kids, and they would just have no idea what I was talking about because I thought it was English, but it wasn't.
You didn't know the difference at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know the difference.
So what got you into like making art in general?
I guess I've always been making art. That's what my mom says. Like I've always been drawing, and I feel like it's pretty much the only thing that I can do. I've tried other things and they don't work out. And yeah, it's always just come naturally to me, and I thoroughly enjoy it, so I've always done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in your mind, did you always have like tattooing as one of those things that you were striving after, or did you have other outlets that you were pursuing first?
I didn't really have like a focus for my artwork for many years, and I had been getting tattooed for like a few years, but I always just thought tattooing was for like someone else, you know what I mean? Like someone cooler or someone better or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I made friends with my tattoo artist at the time who's passed away. His name was Ben McClellan, and he was a complete like nutcase and total animal. And when I saw him tattooing, it made me kind of realize like, hey, maybe I could do that too, you know?
He lowered the bar enough for
yeah,
you.
it's like, wait, if he can do it, maybe I can do it. And that's kind of when I started, and he helped me out a lot at first. So
I had a similar kind of idea as well, because I had always liked drawing. I was drawing like a lot of comic books at the time.
yeah.
And I think it was like 15 years old, and I saw people tattooing. One of my friends at the time was like looking through my sketchbook and was like, oh, if you were a tattoo artist, I'd totally get one of your tattoos or one of your drawings tattooed on me. And I was like, okay. It kind of broke down that barrier of I could do it as well. And I think at the time, too, I was getting a little bored with drawing comic books, and I was looking for something a little bit more. I was doing like painting. But yeah, tattooing was something like I always draw on myself and imagine what it could be like to do it, but it just seemed like it was something that was always going to pass over me. It was not for me. But that barrier that was broken down just by that simple statement from my friend was like, oh yeah, of course I can do that.
Well, I guess that's all it takes sometimes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, I guess for me, it really made it feel like I could chase it. It was just like, okay, I can do this now.
Did you have many tattoos at the time?
I had like some stick and pokes on me from friends. At the time, I got tattooed by this guy. I like snuck in with some older friends and got tattooed when I was 15.
Cool.
And it was up in New Hampshire because it wasn't legal here yet. So I went with some older friends who had already been tattooed, and I was like, oh, maybe I can slip in and get something. And I was just so excited. I only had like $60.
What did you get?
I just got this stupid Celtic animal on my leg.
Oh my God, yes.
And
that's awesome.
it was like the right size and the right price. And I was just like, all right, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't have much money. I was just working bagging groceries at a Capital Market in Dorchester. What about you? Like, when did you start pursuing it?
Well, like getting tattooed?
Getting tattooed or...
I got my first tattoo when I was 18 on my 18th birthday. Somehow, I'm not sure how I was able to luck out, but I knew about good tattoos right away. So I skipped over getting like just like stick and pokes or like weird tribal stuff or whatever. There used to be a store in Harvard Square called Hootenanny. There was a girl that worked there that had all perfect tattoos, and I thought she was so cool. And so I asked her, I was like, where do you get yours? And she told me to go to Redemption, actually. So that's where I got my first tattoo.
Wow, that's really good.
I know. I was like, wow, I can't even believe I could afford to get them from there. I don't know what I was doing for work at the time. But I got like most of my first tattoos at Redemption. Got some from some other places too, but mostly from there. And that's, I guess, how I ended up meeting Ben.
And was Ben working there?
He was working there. He worked there for like a few years. Then he moved to like Philly. He was working with I think Kevin Riley over at Studio One in Philly or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the studio. I used to work in Philadelphia as well. I was on South Street in Philly.
Which shop?
Body Graphics.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there for like 3 years.
Oh wow, cool.
And it was fun. It was wild.
Yeah.
You've worked conventions there before, right?
Yeah, I worked the Philadelphia convention once, and that was fun. It was huge. I don't always like doing conventions because it just feels like a crazy circus, and people are just taking pictures of you, and you're like, I'm a human being, like, I'm not an animal. What's happening? You know, could you at least ask? But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but that's what most of the people at those big, huge conventions are there for. They're, for the most part, not getting tattooed. They're for the spectacle.
Yeah, it's like the freak shows, people being walked around on leashes and stuff. I'm like, I thought this was tattooing, but it's like all this other crazy shit. It's so wild.
Walking around on leashes.
Like, oh my God, what?
Excuse me, no pets allowed. Oh, no, that's my GIMP.
Yeah, well, it's my GIMP. It's like, oh, okay, that's, I guess, all right.
When you started tattooing, did you already have like a genre in mind? We worked together in the past. Last time I was here in the States, and it seems like you have a very planned out or thought out type of style in a way. It's very much, when I see your pictures that come up on Instagram, I know exactly it's you before even having to look at the name.
that's like all accidental because I don't feel like I do have like a set style, and I'm like, I feel super generic. I'm like, how can I stand out? I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, in the beginning, my first tattoos were traditional, and I got them before I even knew what it was. I just knew that I liked that style, so I kept going to that shop. I learned more and more about traditional from there, obviously, but then when I first started actually trying to tattoo, because it was so difficult, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do simple like line drawings instead. But they didn't look good, and it just kind of looked, they just weren't finished, you know what I mean? So then I slowly went back to like doing traditional again, because I feel like that's what looks the best. And it's like, I have all traditional on my body, why wouldn't I do that, you know, in my tattooing?
Right. And it seems like a lot of it's kind of influenced by music as well, like the punk rock pinups that you're doing. And
yeah, I love that kind of stuff, like anything that's like 80s like punk and metal stuff, especially like trashy metal motorcycle stuff. Like I love big hair and spikes, and just like I love the raunchiness of it. Like I don't want any of my pinups to be like sexy. I want them to be like really trashy, raunchy, maybe offensive, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do. I love doing that kind of stuff.
But you get people to get it, which is amazing.
Yeah, I can't believe people get that shit. I'm like, this is so cool. It's like, yeah, I get so excited still when people email me and like, oh, I want like a crazy pinup girl. I'm like, really? Like, that's so fucking, you're crazy. You must be out of your mind. It's like, but cool, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is raunchy, but I like the aesthetic where it's not trying to be like overly beautiful or anything like that. It seems honest in a way from what I take from it, and especially from knowing you now.
Yeah.
And seeing like, oh yeah, of course, that's the person that made that tattoo.
That's cool. There's just already so many like sexy pinups out there. It's like, how many of those are you gonna do? And they're kind of boring to me, so why would I draw them, I guess, you know? But I guess if someone wanted a sexy pinup, I could definitely do that for them. But in my own time, I'm not going to paint or like draw that kind of thing, I guess. I want to have fun when I'm creating my own designs, and that's usually why I kind of go that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. Do you typically draw more of your inspiration from stuff that you've seen, or just more stuff from those metal,
like
old
magazines and records
music
and stuff?
Videos and stuff like that?
I kind of get it from all over. A lot of it's like old music videos, a lot of like album art, things like that. Because it's like, especially very old heavy metal stuff, the album covers are always just so over the top, and the women look insane, and that's cool. I like in like wrestling, like that kind of stuff. Like those kind of outfits are awesome. Obviously like punk rock things too, but also lots of Easy Rider, like vintage biker magazines.
Right.
I get a lot of my stuff from there. Vintage Playboys as well. Like anything that's like vintage, like 70s to like the 90s is usually what I reference. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the bathroom here at Regen?
No, I didn't.
They did quite a bit of remodeling since I've last been here, and I went in. There's just all these Playboy pinup centerfolds in frames, and I was like, oh, hi. But I see there's like a whole pile of Playboys over there in the corner.
That's so funny. We have some at our shop too, and I'm always like, why are these even here? It's like, you need to have porn even at work? Like, men are so disgusting, I just hate them all.
Fuck these guys. Fuck these
No,
men.
it's funny. I'm like, as long as it's wild or like fucked up, I'm like, I'm totally down with it. So it's cool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty funny, us guys.
Yeah, I know.
But we have fun. We definitely don't take ourselves too serious.
I know, especially at the shop I'm at. It's like all those guys are awesome, and they're so silly. I'm just like, I can't believe I get to work with them. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love working over there. I can't wait to go over there next week.
They love you so much. Like, I can't wait till he comes here so we can hug him. I'm like, what's wrong with all of you?
You don't feel that way? Oh.
I don't know.
All right, cut this shit out. I don't want to do this anymore.
No, I'll hug you. Don't worry. I'm just like a grumpy little lady. I don't know. It's the way I am. Don't take it personal.
I don't know what I like about him. Probably nothing.
Like, oh, I hate that guy. Why is he coming back?
I'm going on vacation when he comes back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I don't feel that way about you, and I'm offended now that you would do such a thing. But you've worked over there for, I don't know, almost a year now?
Yeah, it's going to be, I started there last May, so it's almost a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's cool. I felt like very at home right away, which is nice. Although I loved working at Brilliance, and Elise was like the best boss I've ever had. She was great. She's so cool.
I'm sure that's a huge dynamic shift because it's mostly women at that shop in Brilliance?
Yeah, so it's mostly women there, which was really nice because before Brilliance I had worked at like a series of shops where it's just kind of like I didn't really have the best time at, so to work with a bunch of women was like totally refreshing. I'm like, I'm having a bad day, guys, and they surround me, they hug me. I'm like, oh, this is nice, like some support here, like cool, you know. And I don't know, that shop was cool. They were all like really chill at the same time, you know. We all got along and it was super easy being there. But unfortunately, it wasn't a traditional shop, and so I wanted to get back into that kind of setting. And that's the only reason why I left. I just needed to get back into the traditional world where I can talk about tattoos with people and just be updated on what's going on, you know.
Right. Yeah. No, it's good. Like I always had this idea, like long ago, of kind of like breaking off and trying to do something on my own, but I miss being around other artists so much.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if I would function on the long term that way. And
I feel like a private studio it feels like very isolating when you're working like that. So the last two shops before Good Faith, I was at private studios, and you just feel kind of like cut off and alone sometimes because you end up working alone a lot. It's good to be back with people and be able to talk with them and ask them questions like, how should I do this? Like, does this look good or bad? Or it's nice to get some reflection.
Right. Yeah, I love that part about it. Do you have any influences outside of tattooing? I always like to pick people's brains about stuff outside of tattooing and what they might be able to bring into it. I know you talked about the heavy metal magazines and stuff like that, but any artists that you can think of?
I'm trying to think. I can't think right now. I don't know. I'm like, I know I was just like looking at something that I thought would be really great tattoos, but mostly it's just like influenced by like music and like metal and stuff like that. Especially like all the spikes is like very black metal. So I love that kind of stuff. And it's like when I draw, I listen to like music and it keeps me super motivated. Like I love that. Mm-hmm. But that would probably be the biggest influence is music. Yeah,
it's funny, whenever I like would paint or draw or start like designing something, I would sometimes hear the lyrics wrong of some song, but then hearing it wrong sparks something else, and then it would just be words, but then those words would turn into like an image. And so it's cool to kind of, if that stuff happens, it's cool when it does, and you can kind of be like, oh, you know, I get this idea. But I think a lot of my ideas are more for paintings right now, recently, and less for like tattooing. I think.
Okay.
I think currently I'm in like this little slump of like figuring out new tattoo ideas. Maybe I should just be doing some more paintings.
No, just do whatever makes you happy, you know. That's what you should do, because otherwise you're forcing it and then it won't be natural, right?
Yeah. Do you ever struggle with that, just trying to force it, or?
Oh my God, yeah. It's like a roller coaster all the time. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm on top of everything and I'm really psyched with my drawings, and then the next day I'm completely unmotivated. I'm like, maybe I should just quit or reapprentice. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, my world's falling apart, and then the next day I feel pretty good again. So I probably have like some kind of like medical issue or something.
Oh, it sounds pretty accurate.
But it's fun. I'm like, it's never boring, right?
Right. Yeah. No, it sounds pretty accurate, because I think I do the same thing up and down, and but I don't think there's any other way. You almost need that split personality or that bipolar look at things, because I think that even helps you look at a drawing or a design from a different perspective as well.
It keeps things kind of fresh, you know? Yeah, like I have so much stuff that's ready to be painted at home. I'm just waiting for that energy to come back. And it's like I've kind of like realized it now, like the ups and downs, like, okay, I don't really feel like doing much right now, but the world isn't ending and it's okay. And I will probably feel better tomorrow or the next day, and then I'll be painting for like another 6 months. But I definitely get down on myself when I don't paint a lot. It really bothers me for some reason. It makes me feel like I'm losing touch with stuff. More so than if I was like, if I tattoo all the time but I'm not painting, I still feel that way. I love painting. And
yeah, I get the same way. Are you painting mostly flash images or
yeah,
paintings?
I mostly paint flash. And then I have my little side projects where I just do like metal album art, which is all stippling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I do like lots of different metal band logos, and then working on a bunch of them right now, but I have like a whole separate like Instagram for it, and it's like completely different than my tattooing. Like you wouldn't even recognize it as mine. But the only people that are interested are like 15-year-old boys, and that's it. Like I've done like so many band logos, and I always ask them now, like, how old are you? And I'll look at their accounts and like, oh, I'm 15 and I'm 16. I'm like, what does this all mean? Like, why am I getting this weird demographic? But it's fun. I don't even fucking charge them. I just do it because it's fun. How stupid is that?
It's awesome. You're supporting the arts.
I'm psyched that they're into like cool music. Like the way kids are these days, like everything's all weird and electronic, and I don't understand it. The rap that's out now, I just can't. I don't know. Is that music?
Now you're sounding old. Like these kids today.
I'm like a little old, I guess.
Yeah. The same thing with music for me. I like a guitar, and I like drums, and I like actual instruments, and
yeah.
And definitely like seeing live music. It's a definitely different experience than listening. And I think even Spotify, it sounds even different or detached than it would be like a record. And
yeah, I definitely feel the same way. Like I don't use Spotify. I guess I use like YouTube for like that kind of stuff, but I'm definitely, just like tattoos, I'm a collector of like all different kinds of things. It doesn't just stop at tattoos, so I definitely collect records and tapes and CDs because I like having the physical copy. So if you have a computer filled with MP3s and that crashes, then you don't have your record collection. And I think it's important to like buy that stuff and keep that tradition going. Like it's going to be a weird, sad world when everything is computers.
Yeah. But it's becoming that way.
I know. I know. I hate it so much.
I was just going through storage the other day, and I have all my leftover CDs. All my records are already gone. They were stolen from a good friend of mine who's passed away.
Oh no!
And he basically stole them for like heroin money or something like that.
Oh yeah, these things happen.
Yeah. Typical friend.
What CDs do you have? You have metal CDs?
I have metal CDs.
Trying to get rid of them?
Yeah.
Let me where do you have them? In the States somewhere?
No, I have them here. Yeah. I'm looking to sell the whole thing.
Oh.
But if you want a couple, I'll give them to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to take a look through those. That'd be awesome.
I took photos. We'll go through the photos later.
Okay, cool.
But they're not in order, so it's a mix of everything, every different genre, because I never really stick to one little thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in the mood for breathy, soft music.
That happens, and that's okay.
And then I like things that are definitely not that.
Yeah. I think that's why metal is so great, because it covers such, like, I feel like there's metal out there for everybody. There's so many different subgenres. I prefer, like, heavier stuff, but sometimes I can get into some weird things. Like I just bought like a soul record, and it's 2 songs, and it's like, you know what outsider music is? It's like people outside the industry making music on their own. So it was like 2 brothers in Philly in 1985 that made 2 songs together in their bedroom, but they're like the best 2 songs you've ever fucking heard in your life. They're so good. And so I like some weird off stuff like that too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people that are always kind of finding the most obscure thing and being like, hey, check this out?
Yeah, I'm one of those like annoying people like that. I love finding like those rare gems, and I try to share them with people, and no one cares, and that's totally fine. But the rare gems is like, I think it's like the coolest thing, it's like you're getting a record that maybe like 20 other people have heard or something like that, and that's super cool. To me, it's like more valuable in a way.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the shortage syndrome, like.
Yeah.
But it has to have more meaning than just being scarce. It's like you said, it's good as well.
Yeah, it's good, and I feel like in a way it's like more real because it was just made mostly for themselves as opposed to like a larger audience. Although like I do like bands like Metallica too, so
I had a podcast with Victor, who's the shop manager at my shop, and we had an argument about Metallica.
What were you guys arguing
He doesn't
about?
like them at all.
I find that hard to believe. Those first few albums are really catchy.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said anything after Injustice for All you can throw in the garbage.
Yeah.
Anything before that, you keep them in your collection.
Yeah, it's like when it comes on at work, it's like you're so psyched to be tattooing to Metallica. Like who I don't believe that anyone could really hate those first few albums.
Victor, I know you can't defend yourself.
Victor, I
but
don't
you're
know
wrong.
you, but I hate you.
Oh,
I'm just joking.
Shots fired.
I'm just joking, no.
She's not joking. She's carving it into her arm right
Yeah,
now.
I'm like, hate Victor. Not Victor from my work, though. He's very nice.
No, he's great. Yeah.
Actually, he hates Metallica. He
Yeah?
doesn't, yeah. I guess he doesn't like metal at all. It's like, oh, what a bummer.
Fuck that guy, too.
I know. His hair's long, though, so you expect him to like metal. It's like, what is this? Where did you come from? What are you?
But I like working with Victor because he's super interested in like weird, obscure subjects as well. When I was
Yeah.
working over there, it would always be like, "Have you heard about this?" And we go on these little tangents.
I know. I love talking to him because he does have like, he's into like weird conspiracy stuff, like UFOs, but he is like not like, he's not fully into it. He just likes to discuss it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's fun to bitch with him. He really knows how to like, describe people to a T. And it's just, it's like, it's almost like poetry. I'm like, I need to learn from him. He's so good at that.
I can remember working with him, and there'd be like a particular client come in, and I just look at his reaction, and he'd look over at me, and I just understand exactly what's gonna happen.
Yes.
I get you.
He always gets punished. It's like, I don't know why. Everyone in the shop, he gets all the punishers like all the time, and someone must have put a curse on him like a long time ago or something. But it's hilarious.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
I love you, Victor. What else do you have going on new? Any new projects or
I always have,
travels or adventures?
I'm going to go to Halifax, like I was saying, for the tattoo convention up there in May. I'm going to go back to Sweden, I think in October.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend out there, Jonas. He works at Swahili Bob's in Stockholm.
All right.
Yeah, and so I'm going to go there and work, and I worked there last year. And then I think we're going to go to Barcelona to his friend's shop and go and tattoo there for a few days. So I just got my passport like last year, so I'm super psyched to be traveling. I'm just down to go anywhere.
Was this your first time getting the passport?
Yeah, obviously I had one when I came here when I was a baby, but then since then I never traveled or got my passport again. So
Wow. Well, you should, if you can, come visit me if I'm in the area.
I actually might be going to Amsterdam. So
I don't live in Amsterdam.
I thought you did. Oh, was that where Johannes goes?
Yeah.
So are you in Denmark?
I'm in Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get
I'm
all
like-
those places confused.
Yeah, it's north. It's closer to Stockholm.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like a 6-hour train ride, I think,
Oh, cool.
or like an hour plane ride. But if you're in the area, we should hang
Yeah.
out.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Hell yeah.
We can wrap it up if you want.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I ran out of things to say.
I need to run.
I'm gonna run away now. Bye.
Let me know your Instagram and any other ways we can get in touch with you if we want to get tattooed by you.
My Instagram is Tattoo Sioux. It's tattoo_Sue, but Sue is spelled SIOUX, like Susie Sue, the punk chick. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. I keep it simple. I don't have a website. I like to be like very
Fuck
minimal.
Websites. Who does websites?
I just don't feel like anyone looks at them anymore. It's like people just look at Instagram, and then of course I have a bunch of my work on the Good Faith website too, so I guess that's there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to work with you next week, and we can high five each other.
Hell yeah, cool.
All right. So I just want to thank you, and I forgot to introduce you.
That doesn't matter. I kind of don't want anyone to know my name. I wish I could just tattoo with like out a name and just be totally unattached, like a weirdo.
Then you should just get an alter ego.
I should.
Wear a hood.
Wear like a mask. Like, don't look at me. I'm only here to tattoo you.
Yeah. Don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
You only make it weirder.